Hey everyone, welcome to another night of RAP Paranormal and Friends. Um, Tonight is a little different. We are updating the intro, so I'm just going to throw this out here that everything that we say or our guests say are not anything that do with Paranormal Buzz Radio. And viewer discretion is advised. We're explicit, so sometimes things come out. So just to forewarn everybody, but if you're a regular listener, you kind of know that. So tonight we have an awesome guest. And I know it's been a little while since we've had a guest because we've been very busy with other things in our lives. But we are welcoming the author of Missions from Venus and Wanderers on Earth, also Susan Plunket, to the show. So welcome, and I am super excited about this.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here talking to you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad we could finally get this together. I know we had to do a little rescheduling, but I'm glad that we finally have you on here. Now let's kind of talk about how you got into writing and what is your inspiration for your books?
I got into writing late in life. I've been a practicing clinical psychologist for the past 35 years, and I thought that that was my dharma, that was my service, and that was it. But about 2010, I was talking to Cindy Dale, who's a intuitive healer, and she said, my guides are telling me you're supposed to be writing.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep being a psychologist, but there's a lot of information that's trying to come through you from your guides in the formless realm.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, formless realm, guides, information. What is this? I'm not
Yeah.
a writer.
Right.
I'm a psychologist. And so I resisted it, for about a month. And then I said, what if she's right? What if I'm supposed to be doing this? So I went to see a shaman that I love and work with from Australia. And she said, not only are you supposed to write, but it's a trilogy, and you don't even have to write it. You're just a scribe. If you will just dedicate the time to sitting down, it will just come through you.
Mm-hmm.
And she was right. I did put the time to sit down, and a story came through me called Mission from Venus. And not only that, but she said a lot of it will be delivered to you in your dreams. Other stuff, certain books will fall into your hand that you're supposed to read, knowledge you're supposed to have, and you're supposed to make it in story form.
Mm-hmm.
Do not just write nonfiction. Make a story, because people like to learn things in story. It's just easier to absorb a story.
Mm-hmm.
So it just all sort of came out as Mission from Venus, and then I wasn't sure what to do with it. And John Hunt Publishing said, we'll publish it. And I must have sent it to them, but I don't even remember sending it to them.
Oh, wow.
And so then the shaman said to me, okay, that's book one. There's two more to come. Okay. That was Mission from Venus. Uh-huh. Then book two was The Wanderers on Earth. And John Hunt published that also as volume two. And now I'm writing volume three. And that's taking a bit longer because it's called Battle for Earth. Mm-hmm. And it's about the battle between light and dark for control of Earth, whether you think of it in terms of totalitarianism and democracy, light, dark, free speech, or no free speech. Just the dark side wants to control people and keep them from having freedoms and free speech. And the light workers want everyone to be free to express themselves. So that's how it came about. And it was surprised me as much as anybody, because I was, I'll be 75 this year. So I think I started writing when I was about 60, early 60s.
Oh, wow.
These books, yeah, they were published when I was the first one, I think, I was already 70, or maybe I was 69 or something. And so I never knew this was coming for me.
Uh-huh.
But it's made me so happy.
Yeah, and that's the good thing.
It made me really happy. And I love all these people that I write, these characters.
Mm-hmm.
There's 8 main characters on the side of light, and then there are the Dark Lords from Orion and the Southern Cross on the dark side.
Oh, wow.
And then other humans that they meet.
Uh-huh.
In fact, one of the books that I was led to read was the Ra material, RA material.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Ra, who's a 6-dimensional multiplex being, who evolved on Venus up to the 6th dimension, 1 in 7 human beings is actually a wanderer from a higher dimension. And by that I mean they volunteered to incarnate on Earth to bring the message about how powerful and beautiful humans are, that we are actually divine. We are all divine, but we don't know it. We don't know that we're creators, that our thoughts and our emotions create reality. So, I mean, if you think about it, 1 in 7 people is from the 5th or 6th dimension.
Wow.
And those dimensions are in the formless realm. And then they volunteer to slow their vibration down to get in a human body in order to help.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they have to be in a human body is because you're not supposed to interfere on this planet unless you're incarnated. You're not supposed to be like an ET flying in a ship and interfering. So you have to incarnate to help. Although, some do sneak through the quarantine and they do interfere.
Very nice. So have you had an encounter with a dimensional being?
Not in my waking life. Only in my dream state, when we all leave our bodies every night when we sleep. We leave the body lying on the bed, and we travel in our light bodies. And in my dream state, I have traveled to other planets and talked with other beings. And we all probably have. We may not remember it, but you can remember if you practice. You can remember your dreams. We meet our other selves in the dream, other selves, other aspects of our greater self living on other planets or living in this planet at what we think of as a different time, maybe the 1500s. But actually, it's not a different time because there is no time. Everything is happening at once. Because of the type of body we have, we can't perceive everything happening at once because our heads would explode. So we think everything's happening last year, next year, but really physicists tell us there's no time. So everything is happening at once. So I haven't met one like I'm meeting you.
Right.
I have met them in my out-of-body state.
Okay. Now, when you see them in your out-of-body state, do they look like us, or do they have a different form?
The beings that I have met do not look like us. They are mostly, because they're in the formless realm, they are ovals of light, blue light, violet light, some pale orange light, and I think the colors of the light have different meanings. But I just perceive them, and when I look down at myself, when I'm out of body, I perceive myself as a blue oval, like a blue oval, without when I'm not in this in here.
Right.
It's temporary rental.
So, right, yeah.
This is my temporary rental. So while I'm here on Earth School.
Right. Oh, wow, that's cool. It sounds like, how you can do those aura readings and you can see people's colors and the different colors do have meanings. That's kind of what it sounds like for your out of body too. I'm not really sure if that's what it is, but that's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I don't think I have ever done that. I have some dreams with different beings and things like that, but I don't think I've ever seen myself
what kind of beings have you seen in your dreams?
Well, I think I just see a lot of people. I don't know who they are, but a lot of them come across as being deceased.
Right.
So,
They're visiting you
hmm
and trying to give you information or
hmm
help.
right, yeah, I get those quite a bit, but I'm not exactly sure, if they're actual humans or if they were at one time or
Yeah.
what. But
Not
yeah,
everybody who visits us was a human.
hmm
I used to, like years ago, work with a woman who channeled a being. And once I said to him, who I thought was a him,
yeah,
what was it like when you were a human? And he said, I was never a human.
uh,
I was never, and I didn't realize what he was for a long time until my father died.
hmm
And then another intuitive said, oh, yeah, golden angels came for your father. And one of them, with the initial M, was sent by you. And that was Munka, who,
oh,
who used to be my teacher like
uh-huh,
3 years ago.
oh, wow, that's
And
great.
he remembered that I had asked him
Uh-huh,
to be there when my father died. And he did it. And I
oh,
wouldn't have
wow,
known that he was there,
uh-huh,
except another intuitive told me, and that's how I learned that Munka
uh-huh,
was an angel, was a golden angel.
oh, wow, that's very cool. That's very
So
cool.
cool. So cool.
Let's see here. Okay, so about your writings, are any of those, do you channel that somehow, or how do you come up with that?
Yeah. A lot of, three ways the writing comes to me.
hmm
One is I said, books find their way to me like the most important material that has influenced my books is the raw material. It's also called the Law of One. This material was channeled in the 1980s, the early 1980s, by Carla Ruckert and Don Elkins, and there was a scribe named Jim because he would run the tape recorder. Don would ask the questions, and Carla would be in a trance,
hmm
uh, channeling. And Ra, who was a six-dimensional being, would speak through her. And there are in existence tapes of this
Oh, wow.
still, and even some videos of it, even though it happened in 1981.
hmm
She has since died, but the material that came through Ra was really transformational for me, and I think for millions of other people. So that was an important piece. That was a big catalyst for me.
hmm
The other thing is what I'm dreaming. My guides have told me write in the morning because you will just download. You won't even realize. You'll think it's coming from you, but it's actually downloads that you're getting in the night. So I do write in the morning, and that's really the only time I write. I take the dog down to Washington Square Park, and then when I come back, I make coffee and I sit down and I just write whatever comes out. And I think that's what I'm getting in the night. And the third thing is that sometimes I'm writing, sitting at the computer, and something drops in. Like, and I know it's not my thought. That may have happened to you. It
hmm
happens to me as a psychologist also.
hmm
Sometimes I'm sitting with a person and I get a message for them. It just drops in and I realize I didn't think that. Some
Oh,
that that's not me. But I tell them and it's relevant to them. So when I'm writing, sometimes stuff just drops in or they actually will change a word.
hmm
Like I'll find myself, deleting a word and putting in another word. And I'm thinking, why did I do that? They
right.
must have done that.
hmm
So it's those three streams that allow me to write.
That's very cool.
Do you write anything?
I don't, when I was younger, I mean, elementary school, I loved to write stories. And I know my mom had bought me a kit to write, like a book kit. And I started writing in it and I never finished it. And then I don't know what happened after that. I mean, sometimes I do come up with weird things, but putting it on paper, I just don't think I could do that. But I did try to when I was younger at
Maybe you
once.
can just, if you come up with things, just keep a little notebook.
Mhm.
And then maybe sometime when life is less busy, because you look like you're a busy woman, mother, right? And you
Yes.
don't have time to write. It's
Right.
easier for me being older. my daughter is grown up. I don't have soccer matches anymore to go to.
Right.
I don't need to pick her up from anywhere. She's going to be 28 in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
So
wow.
when you get, when you don't have children dependent on you, then you'll have more time.
Yep. That's true. That is
I
true.
revisit it. If you keep a little notebook of your ideas, you get an idea, jot it down.
Mm-hmm. I've been told that too with like my dreams to, keep a journal and things. And have I done it yet? No. It's just like as soon as I get up, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got to do this, this, and this, and I just forget to take a moment to write down because what I had
It
dreamt
will
about the night before.
really pay off if you write your dreams down, because dreams see around corners and into the future. Carl Jung, I'm a Jungian psychologist, the person that I most admire in the field of psychology, he said, if you could talk to the wisest being you ever met, who knew you better than anyone, who knew what was right for you, would you? Mm-hmm. Because you can. Every night that person speaks to you in your dreams. It's your higher self speaking to you. And yes, it uses symbols, pictures, because it's easier for the unconscious to speak in pictures. Mm-hmm. But you get all kinds of, if I don't know what to do about something, I think it over with my conscious mind, and then I ask for the gift of a dream. And that way I have the whole picture, conscious and unconscious. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to make a move if you know what the unconscious thinks. And it can be very funny. Mm-hmm. It can warn you of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
Well, if you can, like, before you go to sleep, and this is for anybody listening too, right. You just say to yourself, I'd like a gift of the dream from my higher self. Just, could I have the gift of a dream? What is it that my higher self and my guides want me to know? What am I not seeing in my conscious life? And you might have to ask for a few nights running, but eventually you will get a dream. And then you got to catch it by the tail and climb up till you get it by the throat, because, they skitter off into the ether. And once you've put your feet on the floor, hey, I don't know what I dreamed. Right. Totally gone. You have to catch it before you totally wake up.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have a question for you. Do you ever have a dream that you can remember even days, months, years?
Those big dreams. We all have those. Do you have one?
I do have a couple weird ones.
Like what?
Well, the first one, it's hard to explain. In my dream, I was laying down like I was sleeping, and this boy had come to my doorway of my bedroom, and he was in a hoodie and some kind of fleecy pants or something like that, and he just stood there, and he had this brown shaggy hair, and he didn't look that old, like 12, 14. And I saw him, and then I realized I was awake, but then I really wasn't awake. I was asleep. I don't know how to explain it, but that happened. I had that dream a couple times, and I haven't dreamt about him since. But it was just very weird, and it was like I was asleep in my dream, but I thought I was asleep, but I really wasn't. It's hard to explain. It's very hard to explain.
You were actually asleep.
Yeah.
Or you weren't.
Yeah. Yeah. And this happened like last summer, and I can still remember it.
And you dreamt of him more than once?
Twice. Mm-hmm.
Twice, yeah. We see into other dimensions when we're dreaming. Mm-hmm. We see into other realities. I suspect either he is you, another aspect of yourself, or he's someone you know in another life. Mm-hmm. And he's coming to you to say hello, to look at you because he wants to reach out to you. Because when a dream repeats itself, it's usually important. This isn't, what, were you frightened? Did you like him? Did you not like him?
I didn't really think anything. I just was like, who is this boy standing?
Yeah. So you weren't scared?
No, No.
That's good. Mm-hmm. And he was 12 or 14?
Somewhere around there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He is someone you know in because I know this is going to sound really weird, but we're all living multiple lives simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he could be you in one of your other lives. Say we have this oversoul, which we do,
Mm-hmm.
and you might be living five lives in addition to this one. He could be you, or he could be your child in
Mm-hmm.
another life.
Mm-hmm.
It could be you or someone else important to you, and he's coming to make contact because our other selves do try to make contact with us.
Hmm.
And you remembered it because it was striking, it was different, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a usual dream. In fact, it wasn't a dream, it was a visitation. We just don't know who he is.
Right.
If he comes again this summer,
Mm-hmm.
or because to get through, there has to be the right vibration. They can't always get through.
Mm-hmm.
So if he comes again, you could say to him, who are you? Why are you coming?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want something, or do you have a message for me?
Mm-hmm.
Try to talk to him if he comes again.
Yeah.
Because that's a very exciting visitation. I mean, we've all had visitations from people who've died.
Mm-hmm.
Like after they've died, you sometimes see them at the foot of your bed or
Mm-hmm.
in the living room or out of the corner of your eye. And also the dead weave into our dreams. But this young man was not weaving in. He was just coming and in the doorway, in the threshold,
Mm-hmm.
not fully in the room, but not in
Right.
the room.
Right.
He
Mm-hmm.
was coming from somewhere else
Mm-hmm.
because he's important to you. That's a fascinating thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to remember that. I'll have to see if he
If
visits
he
me again.
comes again,
Yeah.
talk to him.
I'll have to do that. But that's the one that's most vivid to me. I still remember that. But
Yeah.
okay, so back to your book, The Wanderers on Earth. What is a wanderer?
A wanderer is a being, a soul, who volunteers to come to Earth, to incarnate as a human infant. All of us, when we come into this planet, we we squeeze ourselves into the body of that infant at some point. I don't know. Different souls come in at different points. And they come and go. Up to 2 years old, you can come and go. And some of us are just coming to learn our lessons. But there are beings who have achieved much higher consciousness, fifth and sixth dimensional consciousness, and they volunteer to come to Earth to teach humans, to help humans to wake up to the fact that we are divine beings and that we create with our thought and our emotion, that we are creating our reality with our thoughts and emotions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we just lost. Hang on, everybody. We just lost Susan. That was really weird.
That is totally weird.
I'm not sure what just happened. She was there talking and then she disappeared. So hang with us here for just a moment.
For a second. We've got to find her.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened there. Well, maybe we are having some technical difficulties. We'll just give it a minute and see what happens here. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what happened.
We'll get her back here in a second.
We'll get her back here, in a second here. I'll try it again and see.
It was weird. She was talking and then boom. Hey, it wouldn't be our show if we wouldn't have a screw up somewhere.
Exactly. I was just waiting for it, it's been a little while.
Yeah, we were going so good.
Yeah, let me try her again here.
Hi, I don't know what happened.
I don't either. You were talking, right. Next thing I'm like, Susan's gone.
I was blabbing to you about wanderers or something, about wanderers. It was like they interfered.
I know, yeah, because you were there, and then next thing I know, Susan's gone.
I just blinked into another dimension.
Yeah.
Always blinking in and out of this dimension, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
We really are.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much you heard, but what I was saying is that because the veil of forgetting around Earth, mm-hmm. you don't remember all your other lives because the law says you have to have it wiped out to come into the third dimension. Mm-hmm. The wanderers have to have it wiped out too. So then they have to remember that they're a wanderer from a higher dimension who came with a purpose. They have to somehow wake up. And if they don't, they get trapped in the third dimension when they already had reached the sixth or the fifth. Oh, wow. So it's a risky business for them to do it. And according to Ra, 1 in 7 human beings is actually a wanderer. You could be a wanderer.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a big number.
That is a big number.
How much help is on Earth right now because the higher beings want us to know that we create with our thoughts. Mm-hmm. It's just like Esther, who channels a being called Abraham. He's always saying, humans are so powerful. They don't know how powerful they are. They create with their thoughts mm-hmm. and their emotions. It's amazing. So that's what a wanderer is. Someone who comes from a higher dimension, volunteers to help.
To come back here and then
runs
the risk of being stuck here.
Up. Hopefully wake up.
Yeah. Oh my
and
goodness.
Not get trapped. Because the dimension is hard. God bless you.
Thank you.
It's hard to be here.
And that kind of answers my next question. If you think there's wanderers walking among us.
Oh, yeah. 1 in 7 of us is a wanderer. Yeah. And I think, we all know some of them. Like Nikola Tesla was a wanderer. He wanted everyone to have free electricity. Mm-hmm. Anyone who wants to do good, mm-hmm. who wants everybody to have the same, I think a wanderer doesn't want anything for himself or herself mm-hmm. that she doesn't want for everyone.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They don't want power over anyone. Mm-hmm. So if you see someone who's trying to take power over you or anyone else, mm-hmm. they are not a wanderer.
Yeah.
A wanderer wants everyone to be empowered.
Right. Yeah.
Putin is not a wanderer.
Yeah.
Zelensky might be a wanderer. Yeah. He might be.
Uh-huh.
Because he's so wants to come from love.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. I agree. All right, let's see, where am I at? Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat all the time. So, your books are fictional, but do you believe that there's any truth?
Oh, yeah. I believe they're only fictional because the guides in the formless realm told me to make it a story mm-hmm. so that it's easier to read. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to make the characters fun. Mm-hmm. And to give information, but in story form. Just like I believe that both The Lord of the Rings and Star Wars mm-hmm. are basically true, that there's a battle on this planet for light between light and dark. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, they have characters and maybe they're specific, but the basic outline of Star Wars is true. There is a federation. There are dark planets and light planets. And the same with Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. the dark side, like Sauron, wants to control everything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then the light wants everyone to have whatever is good.
Right.
And that's what my books are about too. The same battle as Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. Light versus dark. You have allergies.
I do have allergies. I have a really bad sinus headache today, and it's just kicking. No, that's okay. It's just been kicking up, with this weather going from warm to cold to rain to wind to. It's just messes with me a lot. Okay, let's see here if I can read my writing. Why does Earth need help? I can't read my writing.
I can get something from that question. Earth needs help because the Dark Lords of Orion, including reptilians, would like to take our planet and subjugate all the beings here to enslave everybody. And they're very tricksy because reptilians don't walk around looking like a reptile. They pose as humans. But some people can see them actually shape-shifting, trying to get control over others. Anybody who wants power over others, anybody who wants to control others, that is not a positive consciousness. That could be a Dark Lord, or it could just be an unconscious person who's fallen under the power of the dark influence. Because to take power over another, and the ultimate power you take over another, is to take their life, to take their vehicle away, and send them back into the formless realm. So, because there's a battle going on. That's the title of the third book, The Battle for Earth. Even now, you see it. There's a battle going on. Are women going to have their rights taken away? This is the kind of thing that to disempower other beings, make decisions for them, not allow them freedom. Or we have the totalitarian countries like Xi Jinping in China. He's putting all his people in camps, and Putin is keeping all the news from him. America was supposed to be the way shower, a beautiful democracy. Yes, we didn't get everything right. We had slavery, we had bad stuff, but it's still better than North Korea or China or Russia. And so we have those. They're more under the influence of the Dark Lords than we are. Although we've had our tussles too.
Right. Now, who do you think sent out this call for help?
The Council of Nine, who is, as I understand, rules this part of the Milky Way galaxy, this spiral arm, and our solar system is governed from Saturn's rings. And in Saturn's rings, there's a council of 9 higher beings. And they saw that Earth was getting ready to move into the 4th dimension. And they wanted as many humans as possible to also move into the 4th dimension. And not many were getting ready. Whatever was happening, not enough of us were getting up to snuff to move with our planet. So the Council of 9 put out a call across the universe. Okay, Earth, we need to help Earth because they're ending a cycle, and the planet has gone 4th dimensional. So the people need to go, or they'll have to be booted off the planet and find some other 3rd dimensional planet. But the 3rd dimension is a tough dimension. It's full of duality, rich and poor, old and young, high and low, war and peace. It's a hard place. The 4th dimensional is more loving. So they wanted as many people as possible to move to the 4th dimension. So they asked for volunteer wanderers to come. There have always been wanderers coming, but there are many more now, according to Ra. As of the 80s, 1 in 7. There may even be more now.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Maybe some of the children being born, are more wanderers. Those what are those children called? Not the violet children, but I forget what they're called, but children who are just made of love. Just their whole vibe is love and consciousness.
Are there any risks to having all these dimensionals though here?
The risk is for them. The risk is to the wanderers, because if they do, first of all, if they don't wake up, remember they're a wanderer, they're going to get trapped in the third dimension, which is not as much fun as the sixth dimension.
Right.
The other thing is Dark Lords of Orion target the wanderers and try to kill them as children. And then if they can't kill them as children before they wake up, they try to kill them even after they've awakened and know they're wanderers, because they don't want the wanderers here. They don't want Earth to get the message. They don't want humans to get the message that you are powerful, you are divine.
Right. Yeah.
You are creators. Your thoughts and emotions are creating your reality, even physical reality.
Right.
So, yeah, there are risks. Not to us, not to humans, but to them.
To them, yeah.
To the wanderers.
You already kind of answered that, because you told me I was going to ask you about the final book, but you already kind of mentioned.
Yeah. It's taken me so much longer. Each of the first two books took about a year to download and shape. I'm going on the third year working on this book.
Oh, wow.
And it's just because there's so much new information, and there's so many of the events that are happening on the planet with COVID, first of all.
Right.
Because COVID was like one bug to unite us all. Everybody was in the same boat. And that is the lesson we have to learn, that we are all in the same boat. We are all together. We are all connected. Because what happens around the globe happens here in a second. So COVID. And then while COVID was raging, we had the Black Lives Matter movement coming to bring us consciousness that we are all one and we all need to be treated the same. And then now we have this war in Ukraine, where Putin has just gone into a sovereign nation and is killing them because he's greed for power, or his ego, or his paranoia about the West. So things are happening, and of course, he could start a nuclear war. Hopefully he won't, and I don't think he will, but there's a lot going on our planet right now.
There is.
Incredible amount going on. And so some of that is getting woven into the story to help us understand, why is it so intense right now? Because we're supposed to wake up and realize that we have power. We are gods. Even when Jesus walked the earth, he said, "Know ye not that ye are gods?" He was giving that same message because, of course, he was a wanderer from a higher dimension. He was a beautiful, beautiful soul that came here to give us a beautiful message, as Buddha too, and many others. I don't know all of them because I'm not a religious person, more just spiritual.
Right. Now, where can everybody find your books? I know they're on Amazon, but are there any other?
I think barnesandnoble.com or Amazon. That's the only thing that I know of. Okay. Those are the only two I know. But they can get them on Kindle or paperback.
Okay.
If they're interested in wanderers, maybe they are a wanderer. I mean, 1 in 7 of us is wanderers.
Right. Yeah.
If you think you might be a wanderer, read these books.
Yes. There you go.
Or want to learn a lot about what's happening on Earth.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. Now, do you have any social media or any websites? So if any of our
Oh,
listeners...
My website is susanplunket.com. And Plunket has one T. susanplunket.com. And everything's on there.
Okay. I'm going to put it into the chat here. So that way they can see it. For anybody, and we'll post it on our social media as well. Do you have any social media or anything that they can follow you?
I have Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
If they want, it's Susan Plunket.
Okay.
I can do that. Thank you so much for asking that and including it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I try to do it every time because
Yeah.
you know, some people come in and they listen later and then they want to, you know, they'll say, oh, you know, do you have any way I can get a contact with them? I have more questions or I have questions. So I just always try to include it too.
Yeah.
And then we post it on our social media too. So, but yeah.
Well, I hope your allergies are better.
Oh yeah, thanks. No, yeah, I know. It's been a whirl. I've been just busy, and then you know it just hit me, and it's like I can't be sick for graduation next week.
Oh my God, your daughter's graduating from high school. That's right.
Yes, yes. So she
wow.
she turns 18 tomorrow, and she graduates next week, and then the following weekend is our party. So it's just
Oh, you are going to be so. What an exciting transition.
Yes.
Oh, your baby is launching into the world.
Yep, I know it. So yeah, I don't have time to be sick.
Well, that's good. Just tell your body that message, like, clear this up, you know, just clear this up for me.
Yes.
And our bodies listen because the body is a creature of the mind. So just tell your body, like, no, we're not getting sick, we're not having allergies, we're not having a cold.
Yeah, we're not having any of this. You need to go.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely, Susan. It was an absolute blast talking to you. And like I said, everybody, make sure you check Susan out on Facebook and Instagram at Susan Plunket. Also, I provided that information in our chat as well as her website, susanplunket.com. You can check out all of her books on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, so make sure you go check them out. I do have that on my list, so I have a lot of other books to read yet too to get caught up on, so I'm just adding them
after the party, after the graduation, the birthday, and the party. Okay.
Yes, after that, I'm gonna give quick shout outs to everybody who was in chat here real quick. We had Kim, Darren, Matt, Allie, and Nico. Thank you everybody who was in chat. Thank you for everybody not in chat but listening. We appreciate each and every one of you. We will be out the next couple weeks, and then we'll be back with Abigail Moss. She's a shaman, so stay tuned for that show. And thank you once again, Susan, for being on. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody. This is our ending for now because, like I said, we don't have any music or anything to bring it into the show or out this time. And like I said, views and opinions that were brought up on the show tonight have nothing to do or are affiliated with Paranormal Buzz Radio. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And like I said, next couple weeks we'll be out, but we'll be back on the 26th. So stay tuned. Bye. Nico shows